welcome back to One-on-One Sports. I'm Mike Feldman. Eric Kendall and Rich Ryan, welcome to the program. We're about 3 weeks into the NBA season, and what has been the biggest surprise so far?
Well, it's got to be the Phoenix Suns. 8-2 right now, #1 in the Western Conference, and coming into the season, they had a lot of question marks, whether it be Amari Stoudemire and his eye problem, or Steve Nash and getting up there in age. But they're scoring the ball great. They're second in the league in points, second in assists. The only thing that is troublesome is the defense. Grant Hill old as well, so towards the end of the season, can the Phoenix Suns hold on and play defense?
Yeah, you know, that defense is going to be an Achilles heel for them as you get into the playoffs and, you know, meaningful games. But you can't argue with the offensive output of particularly Steve Nash and Amari Stoudemire, who is proving that he's still one of the best offensive threats in the league. And you just have to give a lot of credit to Steve Kerr, who went to the defensive mindset last year with Terry Porter as the coach. But it didn't work. Obviously didn't work with Shaquille O'Neal there. It's great to see that he went back to what worked before, and I applaud him for that.
Alvin Gentry definitely doing a solid job with the offense all around. We're going to look at the flip side of the coin. What has been the biggest disappointment so far this season?
Biggest disappointment for me was the Byron Scott firing 9 games into the season for the New Orleans Hornets. Unbelievable. I don't see how you can justify taking a coach out of their head coaching position 9 games into a season. I know they didn't win many games within that time.
He shouldn't have been there in the first place. He should have been fired during the offseason. Byron Scott and Chris Paul have had a disconnect since the middle of last season. The firing actually comes late. If I'm the owner of the Hornets and I've got a guy like Chris Paul who disagrees with my coach, I'm getting rid of the coach.
But you got to say, once you go into the season, you have to stick with your coach. I know Chris Paul feels that way. He came out a couple days after the firing and said, what's the deal? Why wasn't I involved in this decision-making process? I don't see how you can get rid of a coach that early in the season and be thinking that you have a chance to still save that season and have a good turnout.
Well, I agree it is bad to fire someone so early in the season. It's better than the middle of the season. When there's a disconnect there, I can't really disagree with the firing. Byron Scott, kind of overrated. He had 2 really good seasons with the Nets, had 1 good season with the Hornets, but other than that, not a really great coach. If you had to pick between Byron Scott and Chris Paul, I'm taking Chris Paul all day.
Oh, yeah, I'd take Chris Paul too, but I just don't, do you think it's going to make the Hornets better?
No, I don't right now, but going into the future, yes, I think it is a good decision to get rid of him.
Okay, so long term. Okay.
Yes, long term.
All right, guys, well, you're talking about Chris Paul, definitely an MVP candidate, so we're going to get into some quick hitters right here. Who is your MVP?
Well, it's King James. Won the MVP last year, 27-7-7 right now. Unbelievable statistics. And look, Shaq's important, but LeBron's the guy.
LeBron's doing it by himself.
Exactly. Without him, the Cavs are nothing. Anderson Varejão's a walking poster boy after getting slammed down by D-Wade.
And he flops like a fish.
Incredible, by the way. Without LeBron James, the Cavs are nothing.
Okay, yeah. LeBron, I mean, you can't really argue with LeBron. He's obviously one of the best players in the game. I got to say,
the best player in the game.
The best player. Okay, we're not getting into that. I'm
Kobe,
saying Carmelo Anthony this year has come out. He's dropped weight. He's re-established himself as one of the best players in the game. Remember, he was the Rookie of the year that both him and LeBron were rookies, and I feel like he's back up to his playing style of that year.
So we see Carmelo Anthony, very solid rookie year that led into a solid NBA career.
Yeah.
But as far as rookies right now, who's your Rookie of the Year?
I don't see how you can't go with Brandon Jennings. This guy dropped 55 points against the Golden State Warriors a couple nights ago. You know whose record he broke for the most rookie points for the Milwaukee Bucks? A guy named Lou Alcindor, also known as Kareem Abdul-Jabbar,
all the young ones at home.
Who was one of the best offensive players in the game's history.
Without a doubt.
This guy, and in his 7th game as a pro, unbelievable. I don't see how you can go with anyone else.
It'd be clearly foolish not to say that Brandon Jennings would be the Rookie of the Year, but I got to shed light on my guy out in Denver. It's Ty Lawson. Ty Lawson, a great guard. He's put up good numbers, 16 points, 6 assists a game right now. But more importantly, he has crucial minutes on the court. Look, Chauncey Billups is getting up there in age. He's extremely important for the Denver Nuggets to have Billups on the floor. So later on in the season, Ty Lawson's minutes right now are really going to become more valuable because Chauncey Billups is going to have a lot more fuel in the tank, and the Nuggets are going to need that if they want to make some kind of playoff run later on in the season.
Agreed.
Definitely some eye-popping players, but what is your most eye-popping stat so far this year?
It's Channing Frye. His ability to shoot the 3 has increased exponentially this year. In 4 years previous, he was 20 for 70 from 3. This year alone, 32 of 68. Alvin Gentry has allowed him to shoot the 3. They haven't thrown his back to the basket. He's not a powerful 4. He's a guy who can shoot big props to the Suns for allowing him to shoot. He's one of the best three-point shooters in the NBA thus far.
Yeah, he's one of the reasons they're having that early success. My biggest stat is 62% shooting from Chris Paul.
That's incredible.
As a guard
Yeah.
and the main offensive threat for that team, that is unbelievable to say he can shoot with that kind of percentage from the floor. I just don't feel like any other stat that I looked at is as impressive as that one.
All right, guys. Well, very big stats, but what is your bold prediction for the rest of the NBA season?
Okay, bold prediction. Are you ready for this?
Bold.
Oklahoma City Thunder will make the playoffs this year. They have the talent there. They have Kevin Durant, who is one of the best players in the league, and he's surrounded by young talent. They drafted James Harden, who's good for them. Jeff Green.
Russell Westbrook's phenomenal.
I was about to say that. Russell Westbrook. He's been a great player. I feel like they can get it done this year. I know they don't have a big man. They're hoping B.J. Mullins can be that guy, but I just don't see it. Don't see that developing, but I think they're good enough for an 8 seed.
The size is a problem, and I'm going to go to a team that just got size, the Cleveland Cavaliers. Everyone talks about exactly LeBron James. Where is he going to go in 2010? Is he going to go to New York? Is he going to go to New Jersey? Well, how about this? The Cavs will have more wins this year than both the Nets and the Knicks combined. They're right now 1-19. Those teams are horrible. The Cavs are a much better team. Right now, a much better fit for LeBron James, and they'll have more wins than those two teams combined.
Well, feeding off your bold prediction, my bold prediction is going to happen in the offseason. LeBron James signs with the Cavs and is the franchise for the rest of his career.
Okay.
But for now, we have to take a quick timeout. But don't go away, because when 101 Sports comes back, we'll be venturing into the mind of Robert Warner. Stay tuned.